You've heard of the Memphis Belle, but how did that iconic aircraft actually get its name? Join me today on Walk with History from Memphis, Tennessee.
The mountainside.
Never let me down.
The summer's gone.
I can't say that about many people. You know how to take care of your man. Well, that's about the best thing a fella can say about any gal, I guess.
But don't be back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh Danny boy, I love you so. Yeah,
Hi, Jenn of Walk with History, veteran, historian, and lover of all things pinup. So here today, we are going to honor the woman behind the name Memphis Belle. And as a pilot, this aircraft is iconic in the history of military aircraft. And everyone knows the Memphis Belle. It's one of the first aircrafts to complete 25 bomber missions during World War II, came back to America and did a war bond tour. But here in Memphis, we're at the Veterans Plaza in Overton Park. And this park is pretty popular for the first performance of Elvis Presley. But they have made this whole Veterans Plaza in honor of the people who fought from the city of Memphis. And there's a whole area devoted to the Memphis Belle. Was a Boeing B-17F Flying Fortress. It was one of over 12,000 B-17 heavy bombers built under the direction of the Boeing Aircraft Company. With a crew of 10, the aircraft was among the first B-17s to retire from active service in the European theater. After 25 officially credited missions, the crew and their lucky mascot, a Scotty dog named Stuka, returned home without major injuries. The aircraft flew in combat from November 7th, 1942 to May 19th, 1943. And upon completion of these missions, they flew home first to Washington and then to Memphis to visit the real Memphis Belle, Margaret Polk. This picture on the front of this monument depicts that first visit, June of 1943. So when the Boeing B-17F rolls off the conveyor belt at the production plant, all aircraft are numbered. So you see the Memphis Belle's number is 41. This is the year it was made, and then 24485. This will always be the aircraft number for its duration of its life. So Margaret Polk was the sister of a person who was dating a surgeon in the 91st bomb group stationed in Walla Walla, Washington State. And she was going to drive out there to see her boyfriend, and Margaret's mother said, why don't you go with her so she's not by herself on this long road trip, and won't it be great for you sisters to do this together, and you can actually have a great stop in Wyoming. And Margaret was sold. Well, unbeknownst to her, when she gets there, she is invited to Robert Morgan's birthday party. Now, she already had a prior engagement. She was supposed to be going on a date with somebody else. And so Robert kind of gives her a hard time. They have a little bit of an argument. And instead of love at first sight, it's like this intrigue at first fight. And they take a special interest in each other. Margaret is a bit of a tomboy. She likes this pilot kind of lifestyle, and this is going to start some low-level flybys of Margaret's house. And it's very reminiscent of Top Gun, giving a flyby to Penny, the Admiral's daughter. And this is really what happened with Robert Morgan and the crew of what would become the Memphis Belle, flying by Margaret Polk's house so much she said it would shake the house. And this happened numerous times, and this kind of cemented their I would say, their appeal for each other, their draw to each other, before Margaret has to head back to Memphis. The Memphis Belle then toured the country on a 32-city war bond tour, visiting Army Air Force bases, aircraft manufacturers, and equipment suppliers to raise public awareness and support. From there, it spent the next 59 years in Memphis at various locations around the city. But finally, in 2005, Memphis Belle was transferred to the National Museum of the United States Air Force, a part of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, as a plane of record. And you can visit the Memphis Belle there today, as it's been fully restored to what it looked like in its days of glory. This statue of Margaret Polk and the Memphis Belle was put up in October of 2011 in commemoration for what this aircraft meant to the city. And I love how she's looking up into the sky like all people who love aviation do.
Thinking about the nights when you and I would fly. Nothing on our minds but the sunrise. Thinking about
the image of Margaret Polk as the Memphis Belle is one of the most iconic pinup girl images. Although it's not Margaret Polk, it actually is Betty Grable. The image was obtained by the crew chief of the Memphis Belle, who's actually going to paint her on the side of the aircraft. So it is actually Betty Grable with her head turned, although it's supposed to be Margaret Polk. She is now one of the most infamous pinups of all time, and we left a flower here in her honor. You saw our daughter left it to honor one of the most famous pinups in history.
I've been reminiscing about those days I missed.
In June of 1943 is when she graduates from Rhodes College, and so that is when the Memphis Belle will come back here to Memphis, and they'll start this war bond tour. Around that same time, they get engaged. So Robert Morgan will propose to Margaret Polk. A package will come from Long Beach with an engagement ring in it, and their engagement is announced on the front page of the paper here in Memphis, with them both kissing and embracing. They say a spring 1944 wedding is planned. However, after they do that war bond tour together, something happens and they break up. Now, they will always maintain a very close friendship, but their relationship will never make it to that next level. Margaret Polk is always very supportive of the Memphis Belle moniker. She does a lot of tours in that name. She also establishes a nonprofit that helps raise money to keep the Memphis Belle in good condition here in Memphis. Unfortunately, she'll pass away in 1990 from cancer, and she's buried here with her family. Now, the last name Polk, the family does claim to be a relation to the 11th president, President Polk. The history of the Memphis Belle has cemented itself in American culture. I was so proud today to tell this story from Memphis, Tennessee, and as a naval aviator. Join me again on my next Walk with History.
Gonna keep on driving.